today we're coming to you from Oregon. I thought you might like to see the Pacific Ocean this morning. That's actually not true. I'm using a green screen and just playing around a little bit, see what we can do about changing my backgrounds from time to time. So we'll just get back to our regular office picture, okay? We're still in the book of Job, and we have a new person that has been speaking. His name is Elihu. He didn't come with the other three friends, but came shortly thereafter because he seems to know pretty much what they said and what Job has said. And he's not claiming that Job is getting what he deserves for his sin, but he has defended Job against his three friends who have proven nothing that Job has done that has brought this upon him. But now he comes against Job, not because he thinks Job is a bad sinner. Bad, that is, from the standpoint of having brought this upon himself. But he's a sinner because of his attacks on God, misrepresenting God. And so he says, listen to me. Ears test the words. Listen carefully. See what is right and good. Job states that he is righteous, and yet God has taken away his right and wounded him uncurably, even though he's without transgression. Now, what Elihu is saying is Job has made an accusation against God unjustly, for God is not like that. He's misrepresenting God to those that would listen to him. As a matter of fact, he goes on and he says in verse 9 that Job has said that it profits man nothing when he pleases God. Well, that's certainly not so, is it? And so in verse 10 he says, therefore, listen, God does no wickedness or wrong. He pays man according to what his work is. He's clearly saying God does what's right. Verses 13 through 15, he says, he is the creator of all, and if he stops, all stops. I like that. And he says his eyes are on the way of man and every step that he takes. There's nowhere for man to hide with God. He breaks the mighty, and he sets people in place, and he constantly controls all things. He says very clearly here, things are not on our terms, they're on God's terms. And finally, he closes with these arguments against Job. Job speaks without knowledge, that is, knowledge of God, and his words are without wisdom. Job should be tried to the limit, not for sins that caused a calamity on his life, but for what he's misrepresenting God about. And he says his rebellion adds to his sin. It multiplies the words against God. Yes, we got to be sure that we don't misrepresent God. We got to be sure that we represent God as a just and merciful God, but one who also judges, one who does have the right on his terms to do what he wants to do. Job was a man who was praised by God. You could just go back to the beginning of the book of Job and you'll see that. And you'll see that God does care how man lives his life. And it does profit man when he's pleasing to God. But I want to tell you something. It's not just pleasing God. When we do the things God says to do, and we avoid the things God says to avoid, it's the best thing for us. It's when we find the fullness of life. Isn't that interesting? What some people say are a burden for us to carry around to please God is really a life-lifting experience, because what he wants us to do and what he wants us to not do are good for us and uplift us. Now, Job had misrepresented God, and Elihu was smart enough to see that. He may not have been sure what all this calamity was about that came on Job, but he knew that God was good and that his mercy and his kindness was everlasting. Elihu probably saw God better than anyone that's spoken so far in the book of Job. Even though Job had been very pleasing to God, now he was misrepresenting God to those that would listen. As you think about applying this message to your life, be sure you don't misrepresent God. Be sure you don't give him a picture in someone's mind, a picture of God that's wrong, but that he is a God of justice. He is a God of mercy. He's a God of grace, but is always on his terms, not on man's terms. And we may not always understand, but we can have faith and trust in him that he always does what is right and just. And that's my thought for the day. God bless you and have a great day.